A very good day to you and welcome to Let's Talk Love KE, and I'm your host Kavagi Lavenda. With me here today is one of the best political analysts, a professor in the University of Nairobi, and I hear that she's now known as Dr. Love, Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you doing?
Wonderful, yes.
You're good?
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show, Prof.
Thank you.
How is your 2023 so far?
Wonderful. Shaping up well. Yes, very well.
So, Prof, today I wanted us to talk about how do you see the future of, well, first of all, we know that men in the society are viewed as protectors, providers, and head of the family in the society. So my question today is, do you think that the future of men is at stake regarding the women empowerment that is done today?
Well, there has been a general acceptance and talk that the promotion of the girl child has been done at the expense of the boy child. So that so much energy over the years has gone into efforts to protect the girl child, and the boy child has been neglected. And since the boy child is the husband of tomorrow and the man of tomorrow, certainly people now are beginning to see that there are challenges in terms of this empowerment has these negative effects.
Before we even go too far, do you believe in woman empowerment?
Women are human beings, and they must live like human beings. The problem is what people mean by empowerment. I think we must be clear about what does it mean to be empowered. I always tell people, when the West looks at Africa, they don't understand Africa. So the woman you think is oppressed is perhaps not oppressed. So it depends on your understanding of different cultures and different people, different religions. Some people, for example, believe that the Muslim woman is oppressed. Yet a proper scholarly understanding of the Islamic faith will show the contrary.
Well, Prof, as we can see right now in the societies, there is that high rise of feminism in the society. In case you don't know what feminism is, it's the advocacy of the right of women in the basis of the equality of all the sexes. So, Prof, my question is, do you think there is the right way or the wrong way done in the empowerment of women compared to men? It could be right or wrong depending again on how you look at it. If anybody intends to make women equal to men, they will be wrong from the word go. So regardless of whatever approach they use, the point is already wrong. Women cannot be equal to men. Men are men, women are women. Biologically, physiologically, emotionally, and in many other ways. That doesn't mean any one sex should take it upon themselves to oppress the other sex or the other gender. Of course, there are different approaches. From the time feminism started many years ago, there have been various versions of feminism, including very extreme and violent ones. But if anybody starts from a point of view that human beings must exist like human beings, whether they are men or women, and no sex should be disadvantaged, certainly all efforts will be okay. So, Prof, my other question is, you've said you believe in women empowerment because they are human beings like the rest. So my question is, do you think there's a way that the women empowerment would have been done, or is it done more in a way that it's giving the man to be viewed less in the society?
No, you see, if you overplay it based on your misunderstanding of the reality, when you think a Kalenjin woman is mistreated, when in reality a Maasai or a Kalenjin woman owns everything. A man cannot walk to a Maasai home and say, I'm going to sell even one cow. They all belong to the wife. So what is this false impression people have they are exploited? So if you start from a wrong point, you'll end wrongly. If you think women are being mistreated when indeed they are not being mistreated, or if you think they need a certain voice where they don't need that voice, You see, there are people, women who went to school during our days, slightly older than us. None of them got married, and those who are married divorced because they were linking financial empowerment to the role of a man. So to the extent that a woman now was financially stable, she didn't need a man. That was wrong. It was not about money. It was just about partnership. That you partner with a man in a covenant where you love each other, where you need each other, where you are friends to each other. But that the way God perhaps created a man, there are certain things he can do that a woman may not do, or he can do better. When I was doing agriculture, simple basic facts, I was taught women are good at tea picking or things like that. Why? Because their fingers are easy the way they were made by God. Because they can now pick, they are sorting out vegetables, they are easy to bend the back. The way God made people and certain advantages. Of course, the world is now changing. Yeah.
Well, before we conclude, let's get back to the future question.
Yes.
So as people continue with this women empowerment,
Yes.
how can you say the man states in the society will be?
You see,
will women be more empowered than men, or are we most likely to be in a situation where men have to get ways in how they'll be more empowered than the women?
let me answer you this way. There are countries in this country, I think mainly in the Scandinavian sphere, where this thing of women was taken to a level that was excessive. And men were taken to court and harassed, if you want to use the word harassed, because of sexual harassment, which was taken even to mean even looking at a woman with perhaps eyes that were appreciating her. It was thought you are preying on her, and you could even land yourself in jail. So men became so docile that legendary people are talking about women in some countries wishing they had men, because their men have become into things that are not men. Now, to answer your question, unless we are careful in the way we are pushing certain agenda, we could end up with menlets and not men. Because at the end of the day, the way the world is wired, unless you want to change it, and people are trying to change it, the way the world is wired and in our DNA, a woman wants to see a man in a man. So if all these efforts remove the man in a man, the woman in whose interest we are doing this empowerment will be the one who will suffer. Because she needs a man in that man. But there's no man. Mothers have been told, bring your boys together and the girls as if they are the same. The idea of blue for boys and pink for girls, no. They dress the same, they do the same chores. So the boy is not growing up to be a man. And yet this boy you are pampering and calling baby and treating like, so that he doesn't know the world for a man is different. Yeah. He will face the world alone as a man. And yet he has not been prepared to be a man. When this boy you are telling is no different from the sister, he will be somebody's husband. That wife will not see a man in that husband. You see? Yeah. So we need to be a little careful the way we do these things. Because a man will have to be a man. In all senses of that. You see?
Yes.
There are men who think they can go to the kitchen and please your woman. But finally, as you wash those dishes, which are darling now, this one, there is something in a woman that begins to have a problem.
Okay.
The man in you is disappearing, and the woman will look beyond this woman like man for another man.
Okay.
It's natural. There's some of these things are instincts. So we need to be very careful about how far. I would rather we go the empowerment the way the world has moved, like Kenya, where we have removed obstacles for girls. And today, in many counties, in some counties, including my own county, there are more girls in school than boys. We have removed the obstacles. When I was growing up, if you had 2 children, one has got, during our days, maximum points for class 7 were 36 points. So the boy has 25, the girl has 32. and you are feast for one, utachukua kijana, wache huyo msichana.
Yes.
We have moved from there. So those obstacles that were put in the way of women, you had to ask your father or your husband if you want to go out of the country to get a passport. To open a bank account, you could not open. You had to have your father or your... Those things we have now removed. That approach to me is the best. Remove obstacles so that women can develop. But to try to make women think they can be like men is to get the whole thing wrong.
Well, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you for staying tuned. Have a lovely week.